Minister, tillage is an important part of our agri-food sector and the rural economy. A UCD report from 2020 showed that Irish tillage generates 1.3 billion in economic outputs and supports 11,000 jobs. It's also one of the sectors within agriculture that has the lowest greenhouse gas emissions. It's already carbon neutral in many cases. Despite all of this, the sector isn't being supported properly by government and tillage farmers are under severe pressure. So Minister, I just want an update on what you're doing to increase the amount of land being farmed for tillage purposes. I think we all know that the tillage sector is not reaching its full potential in Ireland at the moment.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thanks, Deputy Cairns, for raising this morning, and I want to start again by reaffirming my commitment to our domestic tillage sector. It is a dynamic, sustainable and world-class one, and I'm committed to securing the long-term future of the sector. I want to see it grow in the years ahead, and we know, though, that this tillage sector, and we all understand its importance and how it's an integral part and component of our industry. We know also it makes a significant contribution to the overall agricultural output. Last year it was estimated at €1 billion in value at farm gate prices. We've also recognised the importance of the sector in the Food Vision 2030 strategy and also in our Climate Action Plan, where a target has been set to increase the area under tillage to 400,000 hectares. That's an ambitious target, but one I believe we can achieve and is well founded, given that the sector is one of the most carbon efficient sectors in Irish agriculture. To help achieve the target, I've recently established the Food Vision 2030 Tillage Group, and it had its first meeting on the 11th of May just past. This group is bringing together all of the relevant stakeholders to set out a roadmap for the sustainable growth and development of the sector up to 2030. I'm very much aware of the challenges facing the tillage sector, including access to land and also other issues relevant to the sector will be discussed as well in detail by the group. And once it's concluded its recommendations, and I've asked them to carry out that work urgently, I will be fully considering the recommendations that come forward from them. In recent years, as you know, I've also been proactive in terms of introducing a number of innovative measures to support the sector. Last year, I introduced the Tillage Incentive Scheme, and that contributed to an increase in the area under tillage of 20,000 hectares, or approximately 6% from the year before. We paid out just under €10 million to that, about over 3,500 farmers, and that was paid at a rate of €400 a hectare for each new hectare of tillage. And I'm running that again this year with the same rate, but also a €200 a hectare maintenance payment for anything that qualified for the €400 last year.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Cairns.
Thanks, Minister. And look, I think while you're outlining plans for the area under tillage, but there are so many contradictions in the policy. You name-checked that tillage farmers are finding it hard to rent land, but there's no kind of plan to actually address that except talk to them about it. And this has been an issue for a while now, particularly farmers who might be facing a change in derogation are renting land in other places, and tillage farmers simply can't compete with the prices dairy farmers can make in that way. So the policies are still driving dairy farmers to increase the amount of nitrates they're using, renting land at extortionate prices to do that, and that's worthwhile, and then driving tillage farmers out of being able to rent more land. There doesn't seem to be any plan to address that from what you've said. And then you also mentioned the Tillage Incentive Scheme, which did lead to an increase in the area of land under tillage, but that was mainly of advantage to non-tillage farmers. So that was especially demoralising, I think, as farmers who already invested in tillage couldn't benefit from the scheme. Minister, I think we all know that there isn't enough joined-up thinking for the tillage sector. It's completely undervalued. It's carbon neutral. We're importing food and feed from all over the world, and there's no real and meaningful effort to encourage more people to go into tillage in Ireland. So if you just outline what you're going to do in relation to tillage farmers being driven out of the prices that they're paying to rent land because of the situation in dairy where it's actually financially worthwhile for them to rent land, potentially not even use it, but so they can apply more nitrates.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, thanks, Deputy Cairns. Listen, I have a massive commitment to the tillage sector. It is a really important one that has been shrinking over recent years, and one which we need to see expand and that trend reversed. Some of the measures I've introduced have been unprecedented in terms of the support level there. So I talked about the Tillage Incentive Scheme last year. Also Also the strong corporation measure, which is really, really important, and I introduced for the first time, and that's now plugged into the cap. 10 million euro paid last year for that. And also the doubling of the protein aid in terms of the coupling in Pillar 1. So those are supports that were never there before and are there again. It did achieve a reversal last year. We thankfully saw it start to go in the right direction. We're in a very different year this year with very unique pressures. And I want to gather all ideas now, and indeed any ideas you might have, Deputy Cairns, because we need to pull all the brainpower in the sector to see how we can take it forward. That's why I've established this committee, to respond to that challenge, particularly the challenges that have emerged in the last few months, so I can gather up the understanding of everyone in the sector, look at proposals which we can adopt to actually see the tillage sector grow. Because I am concerned about where it's been at this year. I'm concerned that the progress I've made as Minister, working with the sector over the last few years, is under pressure, and that we could see a shrinkage in the area under tillage this year rather than a continued growth. And that's something I don't want to happen. And I want to see what steps I can take as Minister to continue the momentum we had built up to last year.
Thank you, Minister. Last minute, Deputy Cairns.
Thanks, Minister. And yeah, I think it requires more consistent policies that rewards that kind of environmentally sustainable farming. There are policy changes, I think, that would make a really substantial difference to the sector. We could be growing a lot more of our feed and food. One of the things I think that could be changed is the tillage machinery. It's so expensive, and the current investment ceiling of 90,000 in TAMS 3, it's insufficient to address the cost of specialist equipment in that sector. So the scheme could be adjusted upwards, and I suppose we could maybe engage with Teagasc to expand the range of eligible investments. And then I agree with you that the strong corporation measure was a really welcome development in the sector, and it has proven really successful. So perhaps an increase in the acreage limit that can be applied by an individual farmer to support the sector would be a really good thing, I think, to look into. I think practical changes like that would make a massive difference to farmers that are enduring the kind of high production costs and the variable prices, but also we need to look into that issue of land being rented and at extreme prices that is, it's actually worthwhile for dairy farmers to do that at the moment. And then if the nitrates aren't even being applied to that area of land, it's not doing anything to protect the water quality in a particular area, which is the entire purpose of a limit on the amount of nitrates that can be used. So I don't know, is there a way to monitor that? If you're allowed to apply this many nitrates for this many acres, does it have to be spread over those particular acres? Or what is the department doing in relation to that if the whole purpose of the regulation is to protect our water?
Thank you, Deputy. Final word to the Minister.
Yeah, thanks. No, listen, I'm hungry for ideas in this regard, Deputy Cairns. I've put a big effort into trying to grow the sector and support the sector. Like under the strong corporation measure, one individual tillage farmer can get up to €10,000 under that measure, under that particular scheme. That was a very significant injection into it. TAMS, obviously, we're in a new TAMS there this year, so every farmer now has even if they've maximised their investments last time around, they now have a new €90,000 investment ceiling. And also we've expanded the range of equipment also that they can apply for TAMS. The big pressure, obviously, is the challenge around rental prices. That has certainly been affected by the nitrates challenge. That's something I'm going to Europe on to see if we can get additional flexibility, because it is putting pressure on land, and it does seem to be putting pressure on tillage, on tillage in particular. So listen, this government has sought to support tillage in a way that had never happened before, through a range of measures. We had made progress. This year has different types of pressures, ones which there isn't necessarily obvious answers to addressing, but which I want to pull all ideas together to see how we can support the sector. And I certainly welcome any ideas you have, any Oireachtas deputies have in that regard, but particularly the committee of all of the people in this tillage sector that I've put together to advise on the challenges that are there and how we as a government can make sure that we drive the tillage sector on towards that 400,000 hectare target which we have set.
Thank you, Minister. Thanks, colleagues. Next